I reckon some news is genuinely delicious, you know? Like a hot apple pie on the tray, the scent wafting off of the veranda as you play in the front yard as a kid. You know, you run in from the yard. Ooh, can I have some? Mum gives you some and, Now some news, it's like that. Now, this news concerns Avi Yemini the grifter. And I've saved a slice of that news for you because it encapsulates, I think, the essence of Avi Yemini's grift just so poetically. So, on January the 26th, Avi Yemini appeared at the Invasion Day rally in the city, in Melbourne, to gather footage for his videos. Now, that's no surprise because that's been the cornerstone of Avi's career since 2017. You know, Avi leeches off of progressive activist causes to gather shit-tier gotcha footage that he uses to promote his various subscriber platforms online. All he does is he rocks up and he films himself asking the same questions that you see racist divorcee boomers asking in the Channel 7 comments section. That's it. It's simple. Now, personally, as many of you know, I've worked for 3 or more years to coordinate as many activists as I could across all the different movements that Avi is known for targeting to learn how to best fuck up Avi's angle. See, because I learned the key way back in 2018. The key is simply to ruin Avi's footage by saying stuff in it that he doesn't want to upload. Like about his domestic violence conviction, for example. So, full disclosure, I have already conspired successfully to ruin so many Avi Yemini videos, both myself and with many, many comrades, that it has cumulatively affected a reasonable setback to his career at times. And that's good for me, because for me, stealing food out of Avi Yemini's mouth is both moral and a bit of a laugh. Nowadays, Avi Yemini has reached the pinnacle of careers for people like him, which is to sign up with Rebel News. They provide the ideal platform for someone like Avi because they're as motivated and dishonest as he is. They're well-resourced and they'll aid any campaign he chooses to use for self-promotion. For example, they helped him to launch a Fight the Fines grift in 2020, which raised over $100,000 to help innocent Victorians crowdfund Avi to fight all of their coronavirus restriction breach fines en masse. What a champion of the people. I knew that he'd be there on January 26 because he's there every year, that kind of thing. The rallies is his core grift. Last year he was there too, and we worked with spotters to find him pretty early on. We all surrounded him and we talked to him about domestic violence and stuff until the coppers took him away for being a pest. That's what they always do with Avi, just to clarify. They put him in a van and they take him off a few blocks away, and then they let him out and they tell him to bugger off, or if he comes back, they'll charge him with breaching the peace. Avi knows the drill. It always happens to him. So yeah, he came back on January 26th this year, yet again. This time he brought a little more security with him than last time. Avi does that periodically when he's scared that people like us are going to ruin his footage again. I've seen him do this before. You know, anything that Avi Yemini can do, he's done 20 times over. I've done this dance with him so many fucking times, I could do it with my eyes closed. Quickly, the police came for him yet again. They threw him in the back of a van again. But this time, Avi Yemini, supported by Rebel News, released a blazing hot video from within the police car revealing that he'd been arrested and pleading for your help.
I'm right now in the back of a police car. I've been arrested for what they allege is a breach of the peace. The breach was that I attended the so-called Invasion Day protest to report, to do my job. I came with my accredited the federal accreditation from the government. Both cameramen had the same accreditation by the federal government. We had 2 security guards who were here to protect us because last year they claimed they arrested me for my own protection. I'm now being driven to an undisclosed location and I don't know if I'm going to be charged. But I need your help. Please go to Rebel News /Free Avi right now to help secure my freedom. We've got my gun lawyer Madeline on the case right now. She's fighting to secure my freedom so I can go back and do my job. Please, rebelnews.com /Free Avi.
A comrade monitoring the Rebel News site tells me that within just 45 minutes, there was this breathless donation beg uploaded to the Rebel News site, and it was entitled Free Avi. Now here's the very clear text, just so you know what is being asked of the donor or the subscriber. It goes, "Please help me out. I have managed to get a message to my lawyer. We've been through this before and we suspected that it might happen again. My instructions to her were simple. Get me out of police custody and get me back doing public interest journalism. If you can help cover the costs of the legal battle that I'm in right now, please donate." But what did I say earlier that police do with Avi Yemini? Bear in mind that this is an ancient formula by now, known to me, known to him, known to everybody. Coppers in particular are by now so well versed in Avi Yemini's years-long rally grift that they know what to do. You know, they whisk him away as soon as he arrives, and they do the same thing almost every time with him. After they throw him in their van, they drive him down the road, they let him out, and they say, "Bugger off, or you're going to get charged with breach of the peace." So presumably, by the time Avi Yemini had been released from that van down the road without charge, Rebel News had already publicised a donation for him to fight his non-existent legal battle. What legal battle, you fucking compulsive lying garden gnome? But it gets better. The hot apple pie gets even tastier. Check this. A Twitter user at politicsparty69 scoured the metadata for the breaking Avi Yemini arrested banner on the Rebel News website. Now that metadata showed that the image in question was made over 5 hours before Avi Yemini's not arrest, masquerading as an arrest, by a Rebel team member in North America. And what it proves is that Avi Yemini and his team conspired hours before the arrest to pretend that he was arrested based off of the traditional police van ride down the road that he knew he'd get based on years of experience, and that they agreed in advance to create a fake donation beg for a non-existent legal battle. Amazing. And all of this takes place after the 2020 Fight the Fines scam, which netted these fucking con artists well over 100 grand. As I said earlier, a recent leaked Vic poll guidance note actually confirmed, at least internally, that the coppers are probably only going to pursue coronavirus fines for repeat or willful offenders, you know, like anti-lockdown types, or for people who were found to have coronavirus at the time they were breaching restrictions. And that obviously only means a very small fraction of the fines. So will the $100,000 plus money be refunded? Nah. So where's the 100K gone? You've probably noticed that the word grifter reached saturation in political discourse some time ago. You know, people now throw that term around to denote anyone who, you know, actively pursues a political platform who they don't like or agree with, you know. But no matter how much that word might be diluted through overuse, Avi Yemini will always represent the pinnacle of pure grift to me. He is, and I admire him for it. I admire his dedication and tenacity to lying to the people who subsidise his grift. I really do. He is the most persistent and dedicated grifter in Australian reactionary politics, bar none. And if he meant his politics, if he actually meant to do anything rather than to get a bunch of sad cases to pay for his dinners, then he would be a pretty terrifying political force. But as it is, he's just the king of the grifters. Avi's grift obviously requires him to look like he cares about politics. But the funny thing is that I know for a fact that Avi Yemini doesn't care about politics. All Avi ever really wanted was to monetize his position standing in front of a camera. He did that through his Krav Maga gym for a while, but he got bored of that eventually. And then the Trumpian reactionary politics of 2016 onwards came into his life. And it offered him the opportunity to do all of that whilst uploading his own glistening, doe-eyed little gnome face to the internet daily. Avi and I go back some ways. Once he said that I'm a hypocrite of sorts for the grifter tag I've consistently placed on him. I'll let him tell you what his issue is in that respect. This is from a podcast chat he once did with Isaac Butterfield, false comedian, about me. Just, two pieces of shit having a chin rag about your boy.
I go on about how like alt media, people like us, tr.news, where we always put a thing like, if you want to support our work, go to tr.news/support. I did that at the end of all my videos because that's how we're funded. We're funded by the people. And they have always made fun of that idea. And then suddenly they jump on Patreon and start their own and they don't talk about it at all.
Which all of that sounds fair. But the thing is, if you commit to my little Patreon, if you want, then you know all that you're getting. I make videos, I do creative stuff, I talk politics, I make a podcast, I write articles, I have fun, sometimes I do activist stuff. Take it or leave it, that's the stuff that I do. I've never lied about a fake arrest in order to convince sad, divorcee, racist boomers to shell out their cash to save me from something that's not even fucking happening. All under the guise of conservative activism. That's called grifting. That is your grift. Do I care, though, if these core losers are paying for him to lie to them? Not necessarily. The real Avi devotees are as lost as he is, as burned by their own failures and estranged family members as him. So they kind of all need each other. But I do want to catalogue things like this online in easy digestible formats like little resource videos such as this, just so that anyone teetering on the edge of being sucked into this lie's grift can be shown this video maybe, so that they know the scum that they're actually dealing with. And that's what I always commit to doing with Avi. Oh, and I promise I will never stop coordinating with activists to ruin this grifter's parasitic filming for profit in activist spaces. Taking bread from this asshole's plate is hilarious to me. It gives me life. I hope you enjoyed the pie. And if you enjoyed this video, either subscribe to my Patreon or don't. It's not more important than any of the various actual activist causes I regularly bring up on my page. It's only for those who can afford the luxury. You know what I mean? It helps me to do this work that I do without ending up destitute, which of course I'm endlessly grateful for, but subbing to my Patreon will not save the world. I don't have that power. I don't have any fake arrests to sell you. I'm sorry, I'm just not that exciting.